Breaking news, information, big name guests, entertainment, and sports. It's all right here on 1037 The Buzz, KABZ Little Rock.
Arkansas, an outdoor paradise. People travel hundreds of miles to enjoy what, well, some of us take for granted. We aren't called the natural state without reason. With an abundance of rivers, lakes, and streams loaded with adventure. Scenic views that will take your breath away. Biking trails and back roads just begging to be discovered. Sit back and relax as Ray Tucker and longtime journalist Brian Hendricks explore our magnificent state with this week's edition of Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors. Brought to you by Honda of North Little Rock,
Brian,
your family fun headquarters.
Whoops. Sorry about that, folks. Honda of North Little Rock, John Gentry, the good folks over there. How long have you been riding?
About 40 years, a little more than that. Yeah, about 40.
You don't look that old.
Well, I feel it sometimes, but right now I feel like $1 million, Ray.
All right, we got a couple of guests lined up tonight. We'll talk to the folks from the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. That's something a little unusual. Brian lined that up. And John Summer is with us, who is with Wild Birds Unlimited, which is located 1818 North Taylor Street up in the Heights. And this time of the year, with this big storm coming in, supposedly, I say supposedly, when we got a 65, 70% chance of ice, snow, all that good stuff. First thing I thought of, I have bird feeders out at my place, and I loaded everything up tonight. But what do you do? What's the correct thing to do? What should you feed these birds? And so anyway, John Summers with us. Hey, John, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. All right, let's start off.
Thanks for having me along.
Oh, yes, sir. We're excited about it. I know you were up with us a couple of years ago. We've been doing this, 10 years? Brian says 10 years now, and our lights are flickering in here. I don't know what's going on here. First of all, with this weather, give us a guideline for what people should do if they want to feed the birds.
Well, you want to keep them fat and happy is the way I call it. So feed them high-protein, high-fat foods, first of all. So things like sunflower hearts without the shells, peanuts without the shells. Those are going to take less energy to get them inside their bodies, and then they're high in fat and high in protein, so it's going to help keep them warm. Birds will can burn up to 10% of their body weight just trying to stay warm at night. So they're looking for high fat, high protein foods. Also, the other thing to keep in mind is that especially if we end up with the ice and the low temps that freeze over natural water supplies. Open water is a really good thing for them. Not only do they need to drink, of course, like we do, but they also need to be able to keep their feathers clean and such so that they can fly properly.
Suet is a big thing. Where does that figure into a bad weather bird diet thing?
Absolutely. Suet is a rendered beef fat product that has been basically purified and then usually has some other ingredients added back into it, such as peanuts or various types of seed and fruit and things of that nature. And that is a high-fat, high-protein food. It's not something that everybody has access to. So, start with the seed, but suet is absolutely a great food to have out during this time of year. However, if you're putting it out during this, just putting it out tomorrow, there's a good chance the birds won't even figure out what it is before this event is over. So, it's absolutely great to have out all the way through nesting season into August. But it's a little too late if you're thinking about putting it out for tomorrow.
Do birds kind of gravitate to different things? Like if you have jays versus cedar waxwings, do you have to kind of be mindful of what you have around as to what you put out for them?
To a certain extent, yes. The rule of thumb is that insect eating birds, such as woodpeckers and bluebirds and things like that, will tend to gravitate more towards nuts. Actually, bluebirds, that's not quite true, but woodpeckers for certain, nuthatches, things like that will tend to gravitate more towards nuts than they will towards seed. Not to say that they won't eat both. Bluebirds are insectivores, but they adapt well to eating sunflower hearts. They do not have a beak that can crack a shell, so they will eat sunflower hearts and peanuts that are out of the shell as well. And those birds also love the suet too. So that's, if you've got suet out, that's a great thing for them.
And if you're just tuning in our program, we're visiting with John Summer with Wild Birds Unlimited, talking about the weather and the birds. The birds really have a feeding time. It seems my feeders get visited more often early in the morning.
That is true. They tend to eat more in the morning, and then again, as we start getting towards dusk, they tend to slow down generally during the middle of the day. But when it's really cold, all bets are off because, again, they're burning through so many calories during the day just trying to create enough body heat to stay warm that they may be at your feeders all day.
What birds do we have in central Arkansas right now? Because a lot of them are migratory, and we will have some in the spring and some in the summer. What do we mostly have now?
Well, most of your resident birds are here. You'll, of course, see your cardinals and your woodpeckers, your jays, titmice, nuthatches, wrens. Those will all be around. You may see some nuthatches that you don't normally see, like brown-headed nuthatch or red-breasted nuthatch. They may be here visiting right now. We also see the dark-eyed juncos and white-throated sparrows, which tend to winter here, and so they'll be here for probably a few more weeks. Bluebirds, we tend to have more bluebirds during the wintertime than we do during the nesting season, simply because bluebirds that are up in the northern areas tend to migrate down to this area during the winter, so we tend to see more of them during this time of year than we do during nesting season. Let's see, what else?
I'm sorry, John. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I've got lots of bluebirds around right now.
Yep. Yeah. There tend to be more of them here right now because of their wintering here, and they will be happy to address your feeders if you've got sunflower hearts and peanuts in them, and suet too.
I've got those little, I guess you call them mealworms for bluebirds.
Yeah, absolutely. Mealworms are fantastic.
I bought
those. Yeah,
I bought the big feeder from you all, the big bluebird feeder with a little blue dish in the middle. And I tell you what, that absolutely drives the mockingbirds nuts. They cannot stand the fact that they can't get in there.
Yeah, mockingbirds and robins will both sit on a bluebird, or on a mealworm feeder, and just keep the bluebirds out of it if they find it before the bluebirds do. So yeah, that's a great feeder.
And I put out raisins for robins. Is that good or bad?
No, that's just fine. Yeah, raisins are fine. If you can soak them, that's better, but it's not absolutely necessary. Raisins, cranberries, dried cranberries, dried cherries, any of those things are good for those birds that do like eating fruit. You did mention the cedar waxwings earlier, and cedar waxwings are fruit eaters primarily. So, so they like berries and such as well. But I haven't heard any reports of seeing cedar waxwings yet this year.
I've got these little bitty woodpeckers. They wear that suet out.
Absolutely, yeah. The downies tend to be all over the suet pretty much all day long. Absolutely.
What other woodpeckers are here right now?
Well, if you're really lucky, you might get to see a hairy woodpecker, but they're really hard to tell from downies. They look virtually the same, and just a little bit bigger, and very difficult to tell apart. But you will definitely see the red-bellied woodpeckers probably more frequently than you will like red-headed woodpeckers. And then I've been seeing some northern flickers at my feeders here over the last couple of weeks too. Northern flickers are, in my opinion, one of the prettiest woodpeckers because they don't have the traditional black, red, white colors that most woodpeckers have.
So what do they look like?
They're sort of, well, they're brown, and they have a little bib, and they've got brown speckles on them. They definitely have a woodpecker body, so they're hard to miss as far as that goes. And if you're lucky, the ones we have here are what are called yellow shafted, And if you happen to see them with their wings spread or on the undersides of their tails, it's just a very bright, vibrant yellow color.
John, hold that thought. We got to take a break here. Back in a moment.
Yeah.
The name says it all, and you'll find Honda's best models at Honda of North Little Rock, as they're your one-stop destination for quality motorcycles, ATVs, and side-by-sides. If you have a passion for adventure, head on over to Honda of North Little Rock, as they cater to both thrill seekers and outdoor enthusiasts. Whether you're hitting the trails, cruising the roads, or exploring rugged terrain, we'll find the perfect ride for you. Nothing matches Honda's power, reliability, and innovation. Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
Arkansas is special. Our people are honest and hardworking. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm is pure Arkansas. We were raised here, we live here, and we're straight shooters. Unfortunately, out-of-state lawyers who care nothing about Arkansas are advertising for your legal business. They don't understand that you don't hand Arkansans a pile of cow dung and try to tell us it's a rose. Don't be just a number. Call the Brad Hendricks Law Firm. Tradition, reputation, results.
As MNB continues to grow, we want you to know the one thing that will never change is the way we do business. We still make the process of securing a loan simple and straightforward with a staff of experienced and professional loan officers. MNB has a variety of products and services to fit your individual requirements. Whether it's buying a new home, starting a new business, or expanding your business, our rates are extremely competitive. You keep moving forward. At MNB, we've got your back. Check us out at mnbbank.com.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
When was the last time you went exploring in Arkansas? More importantly, when was the last time you went exploring the natural state on a Honda from Honda of North Little Rock? There are hundreds of miles of trails and back roads to discover. So if you have a passion for adventure, we have just the perfect Honda for you. Our new showroom is just that, as we show off Honda's best models of ATVs, motorcycles, and side-by-sides. We'll find you the perfect ride. Stop in today at Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
Hey guys, it's Jancy Sheets. I want to tell you about a fun new event for a good cause coming up in Little Rock. Grab your golf clubs. The first annual Mamie's Poppy Plates Charity Tournament will take place March 9th at Topgolf Little Rock. All skills welcome. Sign up as a team of 6, half team of 3, or as an individual. If you're not a golfer, just come out for food and drinks. You must register by February 21st. All proceeds help support families who have experienced infant or child loss. To register, go to mamiespoppyplates.com. Hope to see you there.
Introducing Club 52 from Arkansas State Parks, a club that's fun, full of adventure, and open to anyone. Just pick up a free passport at any state park visitor center and start exploring. With every state park you visit, you get a stamp. When you get all 52 stamps, you're in the club, and you get some pretty cool rewards along the way. So grab your passport and start exploring. Club 52 from Arkansas State Parks. Get out to get in.
Brought to you by this station and the Arkansas Broadcasters Association.
The king of Arkansas sports talk, Randy Rainwater for Bet Saracen.
There's big news in the mobile sports betting business. Bet Saracen was just named the 15th largest sports book in America. That's because Arkansans like to do business with a winner. Find all your winners on Bet Saracen. Download it today and look for my RR prop bet specials. I pick them, you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
The name says it all, and you'll find Honda's best models at Honda of North Little Rock, as they're your one-stop destination for quality motorcycles, ATVs, and side-by-sides. If you have a passion for adventure, head on over to Honda of North Little Rock, as they cater to both thrill seekers and outdoor enthusiasts. Whether you're hitting the trails, cruising the roads, or exploring rugged terrain, we'll find the perfect ride for you. Nothing matches Honda's power, reliability, and innovation. Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters. Welcome back to Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors in our Honda of North Little Rock studios. Ray Tucker along with Brian Hendricks, our guest, John Summer, Wildbird Unlimited here in Little Rock. John, let's talk a little bit about your business and what you all offer.
Sure. Well, Wildbirds Unlimited is a locally owned franchise store that's been up in the same location, up in the Heights, right by the Kroger store, for 32 years now, almost 32 years. And we are a birding specialty store. We sell all the things that you need to take care of your backyard birds. So bird food, which includes seeds, suet, mealworms, and other specialty foods, as well as feeders, bird houses, hardware systems to put up your feeders in your houses, as well as some bird-themed gifts and so on and so forth. Hummingbird feeders, you bet. If it's for your outdoor birds, we've got it.
You mentioned hummingbird feeders. Years ago, they put out this little packet with red dye, I guess, red whatever it was in it. It was supposed to attract hummingbirds. Is that still the case, or are you going to use clear water with sugar?
Just clear water with sugar is just fine at a ratio of 4 to 1. So 4 parts water, 1 part sugar, which equals, for folks that don't understand the ratios very well, that's 1 cup of water and a 1/4 cup of sugar. Works really, really well. Matches plant nectar almost absolutely, and the red dyes are absolutely not necessary and may be harmful for the hummingbirds. The red feeder or colored feeders, they are attracted to other colors besides red, but the predominant color that you see on feeders is red. The red feeders is what attracts them. They don't actually see the nectar down inside of the flowers or inside of the holes anyway. So don't do the red nectar.
You know, one of the things I love about your store, especially in the springtime, is the kind of the paper bird things on a stand that got the rotating wings and everything. It's just every time I see that, it's like spring is here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the bird spinners. Yeah, they're fun. They definitely can brighten up your yard.
You know, one question I have is, if we get the ice that everybody's expecting, birds really cannot forage very well under the ice. Are there any special steps you have to take maybe to clear a spot for them, or just, how do you care for birds in icy conditions?
Well, first off, you don't need to do anything special. I would just throw seed or whatever, I would just throw it out on the ground. If it's on the surface, they're going to be able to get to it just fine. So I wouldn't worry about doing that. Again, if you can keep an open water source, that's fantastic. And in fact, a lot of people see more birds at their bird baths during a deep freeze than they do during the middle of summer when it's 100 degrees outside, because they can find open water during the summer. They can't find it during the wintertime when we have a deep freeze. So keep that water out for them. That's very important. And just go ahead and throw some seed out there. Please don't throw out bread. Bread is empty calories for birds, and it has really no nutritional value. They may eat it, but it's just not really good for them. And it may fill them up, but it's not going to provide them the fat and protein that they need to get through the cold weather.
All right, if you've got an old bag of, say, Fritos, and you crunch them all up, is that good for them or not?
Well, I would never recommend that. No. I guess it could be considered better than nothing, but in general, no, I would not do that either.
Ray, if you're going to do that, you've got to put some chili and cheese on it.
There you go.
I was feeding the birds, not you.
I lived for a number of years in Hot Spring County, John, and one thing I noticed on an eighth of a mile section of road, we had mockingbirds down on one end of it, blue jays at another part. We had goldfinches by the scores where I lived, but it's like we'd never got mockingbirds where I lived, and the goldfinches never went down the road to the neighbor's house. Is that kind of a common thing in these parts?
Birds can be very spotty, yes. They are. Some birds are very habitat specific. Some are less picky. So that's not terribly unusual. The 3 birds that you've mentioned are actually fairly common. It's not uncommon to see those all at the same feeders. But yeah, I mean, they tend to stick to, fairly specific geographic areas, unless they're starlings or grackles or something like that. They're more nomadic and tend to move around depending on food sources. Now, goldfinches do move around for certain. So how many goldfinches we see in a given season has an awful lot to do with what kind of natural resources, natural foods are out there for them to get at. If they have fewer food sources, then we see them more at our feeders.
when we had indigo buntings and painted buntings at the bottom of that hill, but they were in the real wooded areas. What kind of birds can we expect to really see, come springtime here?
Well, you just mentioned two of the coolest birds around. Does the time of year from basically the middle of April, so around April 15th to about the first week or so in May, can be the most exciting time of year at your bird feeders, because that's when a lot of the birds are migrating up to their nesting areas. And so you may, if you're really lucky, have the opportunity to see a painted bunting, which looks like somebody's painter's palette. It's got colors, all the colors of the rainbow on it. The indigo buntings with their beautiful blue color are exciting to see. And at the same time, you may see cardinals and goldfinches and even an oriole or two at your feeders as well. So you kind of can really get a lot of color out of your feeders during that time of year.
John Summer.
On top of that, the hummingbirds are there too.
All right, John, we're taking a break. We appreciate your time.
Okay.
I know you're at home, and we'll talk more about Birds Unlimited later on. Thank you. When was the last time you went exploring in Arkansas? More importantly, when was the last time you went exploring the natural state on a Honda from Honda of North Little Rock? There are hundreds of miles of trails and back roads to discover. So if you have a passion for adventure, we have just the perfect Honda for you. Our new showroom is just that, as we show off Honda's best models of ATVs, motorcycles, and side-by-sides. We'll find you the perfect ride. Stop in today at Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
This is Anthony Lucas, here to tell you about my favorite spot in Little Rock, Corky's. Sure, Corky's may look all ribs and barbecue on the outside, but did you know Corky's was also nominated for Central Arkansas's best catfish? And don't get me started on their chicken, shrimp, and nachos.
Those Big Joe burgers, Anthony.
Big Joe, when did you get here?
You really stealing my thunder, Anthony. Corky's is my place.
No way you love Corky's like me, Joe.
Talk to me when you have your own menu item, Lucas.
Corky's ribs and barbecue.
At Shelter Insurance, we believe insurance should adjust to fit your needs. We work to design an insurance plan that's particular to you. Insurance that fits just right. And Shelter Insurance ranked #1 in customer satisfaction among auto insurers in the Central Region 5 out of the last 6 years by J.D. Power. Satisfied customers and a plan for you. Ready to check us out? For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
For auto, home, life, or business insurance, see Shelter Agent Stephen Elmore, 501-537-0959.
Winter's kicked off at Gwatney Buick GMC's Snows Out Closeout. Right now, get your choice of 24 Canyon or 25 Enclave with $5,000 melted off the MSRP. 2025 Turbo Max Sierra and 2024 Terrain are frozen at 0.9%. Get your snow boots on because these savings are deep. Get a flurry of discounts on new Yukons, up to $5,000 off MSRP. Brand new Hummers with MSRPs thawed down by $10,000. Hummer EVs at 0% for 60 months. 24 or 25 Encore GX preferred at 0.9. Call 501-945-4444. And if you need help with a down payment, we're matching your tax return up to $1,000. Gwatney Buick GMC, 5700 Landers Road in North Little Rock. GwatneyBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade. It's Gwatney Buick GMC's Snows Out Closeout. No weather's gonna stop this sale. All offers with approved credit numbers 30259, 30318, 31026, 30763.
When you're out and about in the natural state, whether it's work or play, be sure to make W's Convenience Stores your one-stop shop. With 34 locations in Central Arkansas, they're easy to find. Headed to the lake or just taking in the beauty of Arkansas? Stop in at your nearest W's location. Their double blend of coffee is always hot and fresh. Snacks, W's has them. Want more than a snack? Many W's have hot delis. And don't forget the hot breakfast sandwiches. W's, where you gas it, grab it, and go.
Listen to Out of Bounds every day to hear about what's trending on social media and whether listeners agree or disagree. Engaging conversations about engaging topics. Sponsored by Arkansas-based West Rock Coffee. Join West Rock and their 1.5 million coffee farmers around the globe as they fuel Arkansans with great tasting coffee, tea, and water delivered directly to your business. Contact them at westrockcoffee.com or 833-886-JAVA. That's 833-886-5282. Call today.
The name says it all, and you'll find Honda's best models at Honda of North Little Rock, as they're your one-stop destination for quality motorcycles, ATVs, and side-by-sides. If you have a passion for adventure, head on over to Honda of North Little Rock as they cater to both thrill seekers and outdoor enthusiasts. Whether you're hitting the trails, cruising the roads, or exploring rugged terrain, we'll find the perfect ride for you. Nothing matches Honda's power, reliability, and innovation. Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters. Our man Neil Atkinson traveling this evening, so I will talk to you about Saracen Casino Resort down in Pine Bluff. If you have not downloaded the app yet, you need to do so. It's pretty darn simple. If I can do it, anybody can do it. If you're thinking, well, there's not much going on, pro football is over with, college football, think again. You got the NBA, great college basketball going on right now, conference tournaments just around the corner, Razorback baseball has started back up, college baseball, so there are many, many things that you can wager on. So just download the app, betsaracen.com.
And we're back with Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors. And, people don't really think too much, Ray, of Arkansas as a elk hot spot, but we have them in the Buffalo River country and up around there. You can see them just about any time. And we have a very active Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation chapter here in Arkansas. And they're getting ready to have their annual fundraising banquet on the 22nd of this month. And so to talk about that, we have in Scott Burgess with the Arkansas chapter of the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. Scott, welcome to Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors.
Hey, good evening, gentlemen.
Well, how are you doing? That date's getting close, and I'm supposed you. Let's try that again. That date is getting close, and I believe that you're probably getting very excited.
Yes, we are. We start out about 9 months before the banquet, and there's a lot of moving parts to it, and when it comes close, it's some anxious moments, but it seems like we always pull it off just fine.
Well, Arkansas has got a lot of Ducks Unlimited chapters. We've got several chapters of Quail Forever. We've got Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, and it, oddly enough, may be kind of the one that flies a little bit under the radar. Would that be accurate to say?
Well, I think so. There's not so many people that hunt elk as hunt other wildlife, and especially not in Arkansas, right? I mean, even though we have the herd here, the number of tags is extremely limited. But we do have a chapter in Malvern, and we have a chapter in Mountain Home and Fort Smith, and we had a startup chapter in Springdale and Jasper last year, and our Central Arkansas chapter is probably the most tenured one we have.
And, a lot of people do go out of state to hunt elk in Arkansas, and so I guess they have that interest when they take that abroad, but they also bring that back, and I think that they've been very instrumental in helping the elk succeed here in Arkansas.
That's right. Yep. There's a lot of people that hunt elk and there's a lot of Elk Foundation members in the state of Arkansas, and thankfully for them. The mission statement of the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation is to preserve and enhance habitat for elk and other wildlife and to preserve our hunting heritage. And that's what it's all about for us. That's why we have these banquets. A lot of us don't get to hunt elk every year, but this is a way we can give back in a real way.
You don't get to hunt them every year here, but you can go up to Ponca and Boxley pretty much anytime you want to and see them, and that's a really cool thing to do, and almost be guaranteed to not just see an elk, but see a world class, an elk with a world class set of antlers on it.
That's right. Yeah, the Elk Fest in Jasper is a really good time to go up, and also a benefit of going to Jasper is that during the Elk Fest, if you're in attendance for the live drawing, you can win one of 3 tags. Last year, you can win one of 3 tags that are drawn, and you must be present to win. I think there was about 700 people that were present for the drawing last year, and it's a good time to go up there that time of the year. You can almost always see the elk if you get out early in the morning or later in the evening.
Yes, Scott, when is that Elk Fest again?
It's usually in June, July time period.
Yeah, Ray, if you have not ever been to that thing, it's worth attending because, there are people walking around. The Jasper City, square is just full of people, and there's all kinds of displays, and there's all kinds of vendors, and people are walking around with, these antler hats on their heads and everything, and it's quite the party. And people come from all over to see that. But when we talk about what the foundation does with this banquet, where does the money that's raised here in Arkansas, what's that used for?
Well, it goes into a national pool, right? But we have had a significant amount of money spent in Arkansas over the years. We were a big part of the Richland Valley acquisition, and also the Dixie Point acquisition that was totally within the Gene Rush Wildlife Management area. But we've done about 112 projects in Arkansas, and we've conserved several thousand acres. Actually, we've enhanced or conserved over 81,000 acres of habitat in Arkansas. We did a project last year. We helped the Game and Fish sponsor a project on Lick Mountain where we went in and helped fund a controlled burn in that area, and we put in, with Game and Fish support, about 3 miles of fire breaks and 26 acres of food plots, and that was an area that traditionally held elk, that we hadn't seen any elk sign in there for a while, so we're hoping that that draws them back in.
All right, Brian, you and Scott educate me a little bit here. How do we start having elk in Arkansas?
We got elk. That's a real interesting story, the way that happened, Ray. It was in the 1970s. Former director Steve Wilson cut a deal with the Colorado Department of Wildlife to trade a bunch of largemouth bass for a couple of truckloads of elk. And so they shipped the elk over here. They turned them loose. That was kind of the pet project of a commissioner that was on board at that time, whose name kind of escapes me. But they turned the elk loose, and they thrived. But that director at Colorado either resigned or got fired or whatever before we could fulfill our end of the bargain. So they never got their bass. So we got free elk. And that herd grew to, I think, last estimate I heard, Scott, correct me if I'm wrong, is about 700 animals.
Yeah, about 4 years ago, we were between 900 and 1,000 elk, but there was a 3-year period of time where they allotted a few more tags. About the time that, the news broke about CWD, and the herd kind of took a downward trend after that, but it's stabilized around 400, and they're in the middle of doing their aerial surveys right now, and they also have a thermal drone that Game and Fish has purchased to try to get a better accurate count this year. But we're hovering around 400 elk in Arkansas currently.
And during the growth period of that herd that they turned loose up there, the people up there in the Ponca and Boxley area were very, very protective of them, and there was fear that a lot of them would be poached out, then the project would not be successful, but people really got protective of them. I think they realized how novel it was, and I think they also realized, Scott, that they had an economic opportunity, in their backyard, and they took ownership of that and really helped it succeed.
Yeah, for certain. And a friend of mine told me they're seeing them on 65 north of Marshall there.
Yeah.
Right around the Bear Creek area. They're starting to see the elk coming out in that area quite often. Like they've spread out to other areas. They do travel outside the 4 elk zones, at times.
Well, here's another part of that story that's never really been told, was that when Commissioner John Benjamin was on the Game and Fish Commission, one of his priorities was to get elk reintroduced into the Ouachita National Forest. And the groundwork was being laid for that. It was, as things like that go very, very slowly. And when chronic wasting disease hit, that was the end of that. It will, it will never happen because of that. But it would have been, I think, really cool. I talked to people down in Waldron and Mount Ida and around in there, and they really wanted them because they wanted a little piece of what Jasper was getting with the great publicity they got with the elk up there. And sadly, that's not ever going to happen. And I think that they would probably they would thrive even better in the Ouachitas.
They probably would, and they certainly were native to Arkansas at one time. It'd be nice to see them to be able to repopulate some of those areas in time.
Yeah. And so real quick, we're going to come back to it, on the other side of the break. But how can people get in touch and, get involved in this banquet and attend and get tickets?
Well, I mean, they can call me at 870-267-3153 or my finance chairman. His name's Brian Clenworth, 815-404-9451. Or is there a place we could post we have a QR code where they can go sign up directly for the banquet. We don't sell tickets at the door. We have to pre-register. Right now we're about 150 plus people, and we'll be busting at the seams if we hit 200. But we'd like to get 200.
It's always been an event that I've loved to attend. I've had a good time at all of those things and hope to do that again. But if you haven't been, it's a great time of friendship, great food, camaraderie. Always a lot of raffle items, which we'll and auction items that we'll talk about on the other side. But to support a great cause, elk in Arkansas, can't beat it. We're talking with Scott Burgess, the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, and we will be right back on Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors.
When was the last time you went exploring in Arkansas? More importantly, when was the last time you went exploring the natural state on a Honda from Honda of North Little Rock? There are hundreds of miles of trails and back roads to discover. So if you have a passion for adventure, we have just the perfect Honda for you. Our new showroom is just that, as we show off Honda's best models of ATVs, motorcycles, and side-by-sides. We'll find you the perfect ride. Stop in today at Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
The king of Arkansas sports talk, Randy Rainwater for Bet Saracen.
In Arkansas, 7 out of every $10 placed on a sporting bet app is with Bet Saracen, because Bet Saracen offers more ways to win and more ways to get paid, and faster. Find your winners on Bet Saracen and look for my Double R prop bet specials. I pick them and you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
Arkansas is special. Our people are honest and hardworking. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm is pure Arkansas. We were raised here, we live here, and we're straight shooters. Unfortunately, out-of-state lawyers who care nothing about Arkansas are advertising for your legal business. They don't understand that you don't hand Arkansans a pile of cow dung and try to tell us it's a rose. Don't be just a number. Call the Brad Hendricks Law Firm. Tradition, reputation, results.
The name says it all, and you'll find Honda's best models at Honda of North Little Rock, as they're your one-stop destination for quality motorcycles, ATVs, and side-by-sides. If you have a passion for adventure, head on over to Honda of North Little Rock, as they cater to both thrill seekers and outdoor enthusiasts. Whether you're hitting the trails, cruising the roads, or exploring rugged terrain, we'll find the perfect ride for you. Nothing matches Honda's power, reliability, and innovation. Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
What's better than getting something for free? Winning. Woohoo! And with the $5 bundle from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery, you get the chance to do both. For $5, you get 3 tickets, a Powerball ticket with Power Play, a Mega Millions ticket, and a free Natural State Jackpot ticket. That's 3 ways to win. So ask for the $5 bundle today. Bundle is eligible with Quick Picks only. Offer ends February 28th. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Are you sick and tired of living with that constant pain in your knees or your back? You know, joint pain doesn't just keep you from doing what you love. It affects your job, your relationships, even simple things like getting dressed. Hey everybody, it's RJ. It's time to call QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics uses advanced regenerative medicine to restore and repair damaged joint tissue, giving you your life back. Hips, shoulders, elbows, they can all be treated with natural biologics from your own body. If you're tired of steroid shots that don't work, or if you're trying to avoid surgery, call QC Kinetics now to schedule your free consultation. Learn about these exciting new cutting-edge treatments for pain caused by arthritis or injury, and the best part, no drugs, no pain meds, and no downtime. This is an all-natural treatment that can get you lasting relief. People in Central Arkansas are raving about the results. Call now. Appointments are available for this upcoming week. QC Kinetics, 501-222-8440. That's 501-222-8440. 501-222-8440.
When was the last time you went exploring in Arkansas? More importantly, when was the last time you went exploring the natural state on a Honda from Honda of North Little Rock? There are hundreds of miles of trails and back roads to discover. So if you have a passion for adventure, we have just the perfect Honda for you. Our new showroom is just that, as we show off Honda's best models of ATVs, motorcycles, and side-by-sides. We'll find you the perfect ride. Stop in today at Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
And we're back with some good guitar picking and with Scott Burgess of the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. We're talking about the upcoming Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation annual fundraising banquet, February 22nd. That's going to be where, Scott?
It's going to be at the Rusty Tractor Vineyard. It's just off Colonel Glenn, off of I-430 in West Little Rock. And doors open at 5, Saturday the 22nd. We spend about an hour socializing, playing games, and then we have a meal. And this year, I think I can say it's going to be catered by Count Porcula. And then we have silent auction, we have general raffle, we have live auction. It's a family affair. We like to have the kids there too, you know.
All right. It seems like every time there's a fundraiser like this, there's a heck of an auction. You got live auction items?
We do. We have African safari for 2 people. We've got jewelry. We've got weapons, firearms. We've got home decor stuff or stuff you'd be proud to hang in your den or your big game room or wherever. But we have probably 30 items in the live auction.
All right, Scott, let's start us a grass fire here. Why don't we? The 6.5 Creedmoor is a very, very popular auction rifle. How good is that for elk?
Oh, it's great. It's a great caliber.
I that's what I say too. And people get really passionate about that. But I agree with you. I think it's really good. So when we talk about what are some of the other things that y'all have? Like some of the games that y'all have are pretty fun, very interactive, a lot of excitement.
Oh, yeah, we got a shotgun shell game where there's I think 50 shotgun shells. There's 100 of them in the board, and you pull them out, and inside the shell there's different colors, and that's how many tickets you get. And the prize for that's going to be a Browning X-Bolt 28 Nosler. We have a stretch game that's mainly for the kids, where they stretch out their arms they get as many tickets as they can stretch their arms out. We got prizes for the kids. We got a Winchester Expert 22 for the adults on that. We got a game called Kill It, Grill It, which is new this year, where we've got an Orion cooker, a Razorback cooler on a wagon, and a Browning X-Bolt and 6.8 Western, and 20 pounds of local raised ground beef. And that all goes to the winner of that game. And a couple other games besides that.
You texted me a minute ago a card with the QR code on that and some information about the event. How can people find that QR code and do what they need to do?
We will post it on the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation Facebook account, and we can share the link with you.
Okay.
Or if you have a place you can post it on your website as well. But it's rmef.org/fundraiser. It's also posted there.
How much typically does this event raise?
We usually gross between 40 and 50,000, and we try to net, more than 50% of that, and we do everything we can to get the proceeds up, because it's all about raising money for what we're trying to do, right? It's about our mission statement, and so we'll net probably $30,000 from that event.
If you join the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, one of the benefits that you get is a subscription to Elk Country magazine, and it is a very large magazine, chock full of articles, conservation reports, updates on what Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation is doing with money all around. And one of the things that I always look at in there is how much land that they buy, ranches that come up for sale, that they buy and set aside for elk habitat, and it just I'm glad to see that. It's set aside. It's not federal property or state property. It's I don't know if they transfer it to the states or whatever, but it's good to see with so much development going on that there's an organization out there that's doing what they can to conserve as much of that as they can to make sure that future generations can see and hunt elk.
Yep. Most of the time, the land is either turned over to a state agency, sometimes a Game and Fish, sometimes others. And we've actually conserved or enhanced as a larger elk foundation over 9 million acres, and we've opened up 1.6 million acres to public access. So that's another part of why we do it, to make sure that the hunting heritage part of it is a big part of where the money goes.
You mentioned earlier the Richland Creek Wildlife Management Area, and, that was controversial when Game and Fish did it, but it was one of those things that, yeah, it was expensive, but it was so good to see that set aside, for perpetuity, and for that to become such a popular hunting and fishing area. I think it was well worth every penny they paid for it.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not the easiest place to get to, but it's one of the places where if they're going to survey elk, they're always there.
Always there. And, Bearcat Hollow is another kind of a demonstration area the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation is always involved in, and that's really a showcase for, elk management.
Yeah, I love the Bearcat Hollow area as well. I don't think I've ever been down in that area when I haven't seen elk, and especially bulls down in that area.
Is there
a lot of activity.
Is there an elk head in your home?
Sorry?
Is there
an elk head
over your fireplace or anything?
I actually have. I was lucky enough myself to be able to harvest one in 2021 here in Arkansas, and I'm still waiting for it from the tax service. I'm hoping it's here in time for the banquet on Saturday night. If it's not, maybe next year.
Do you remember the one that Patrick Gilligan got? It was a state record, non-typical at that time when he killed it. I think it was in 2007 maybe, or 8, sometime around in there. Do you recall that?
I don't remember that. In fact, for all the time that I've been involved with the Elk Foundation, probably 30 plus years here in Arkansas, I never really spent enough time in that area up there to fully appreciate what a privilege it is to be a part of that, right? And anyone that's lucky enough to draw a tag, it's the opportunity of a lifetime.
Well,
it's really special.
I was with Patrick Gilligan the day before he killed that, and we were out, and he was the elk that he ended up shooting was, lying down on the other side of a ridge there with his harem of cows, and this other group of cows came up really, really close, and we were all lying down in the grass, and I sort of raised up to take a photograph of these cows, and they were not disturbed until the flash on my camera popped up. And I mean, they all froze and just looked at me. And I thought, this man has paid a lot of money for this hunt, and the reporter guy is about to mess it all up. And so he invited me out for the next day. I said, no, I think I'm not going to do that. You just call me up if you. And he did. He got what at that time was the biggest one ever killed here. The next day.
That's a great story.
Yeah, it was not so great when it happened. I was just glad to get out of there without running every elk, in the country out of there. But what was the genesis of your interest in elk? What made you fall in love with them the way you have? I'm sorry. Yeah, I've done it again. Hang with us. We'll come back and talk about that on the other side of the break here on Red Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors with the big question.
The name says it all, and you'll find Honda's best models at Honda of North Little Rock, as they're your one-stop destination for quality motorcycles, ATVs, and side-by-sides. If you have a passion for adventure, head on over to Honda of North Little Rock, as they cater to both thrill seekers and outdoor enthusiasts. Whether you're hitting the trails, cruising the roads, or exploring rugged terrain, we'll find the perfect ride for you. Nothing matches Honda's power, reliability, and innovation. Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
Hi, this is Joe Klein, former Razorback and owner of Corky's Ribs and Barbecue.
And I'm Anthony Lucas, also a proud former Razorback and Corky's Barbecue regular customer.
We may represent different sports in different decades, but all generations of hogs agree.
Corky's is the only place to get the most delicious ribs and barbecue at a winning price.
So stop into Corky's now and every day for never-ending specials.
Corky's,
where hogs come home, baby.
Corky's Ribs and Barbecue.
When you're out and about in the natural state, whether it's work or play, be sure to make W's Convenience Stores your one-stop shop. With 34 locations in central Arkansas, they're easy to find. Headed to the lake or just taking in the beauty of Arkansas? Stop in at your nearest W's location. Their double blend of coffee is always hot and fresh. Snacks, W's has them. Want more than a snack? Many W's have hot delis. And don't forget the hot breakfast sandwiches. W's, where you gas it, grab it, and go.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour. I gotta fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're gonna be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TRAFFIC25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TRAFFIC25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TRAFFIC25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code TRAFFIC25.
Winter's kicked off at Gwatney Buick GMC's Snows Out Closeout. Right now, get your choice of 24 Canyon or 25 Enclave with $5,000 melted off the MSRP. 2025 Turbo Max Sierra and 2024 Terrain are frozen at 0.9%. Get your snow boots on because these savings are deep. Get a flurry of discounts on new Yukons, up to $5,000 off MSRP. Brand new Hummers with MSRPs thawed down by $10,000. Hummer EVs at 0% for 60 months. 24 or 25 Encore GX preferred at 0.9. Call 501-945-4444. If you need help with a down payment, we're matching your tax return up to $1,000. Gwatney Buick GMC, 5700 Landers Road in North Little Rock. GwatneyBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade. It's Gwatney Buick GMC's Snows Out Closeout. No weather's gonna stop this sale. All offers with approved credit. 30259, 30318, 31026, 30763.
When was the last time you went exploring in Arkansas? More importantly, when was the last time you went exploring the natural state on a Honda from Honda of North Little Rock? There are hundreds of miles of trails and back roads to discover. So if you have a passion for adventure, we have just the perfect Honda for you. Our new showroom is just that, as we show off Honda's best models of ATVs, motorcycles, and side-by-sides. We'll find you the perfect ride. Stop in today at Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
And we're back with Red Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors. A cold, cold central Arkansas night, talking with Scott Burgess of the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation about all things elk, including the upcoming fundraising banquet on the 22nd of this month. And Scott, run us through that again. How can people get tickets, and what can they expect when they get there?
Well, they can call our finance chair, Brian Klendworth, at 815-404-9451, or they can call me at 870-267-3153, and we'll make sure that you're able to post this somewhere, and we'll put it on our Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation Arkansas page as well. But doors open at 5. It's at the Rusty Tractor Vineyard off of Colonel Glenn, and we hope to have things wrapped up by 9:30, 10 o'clock.
You just texted me a photograph of the elk you were talking about that you're waiting to get back, and that thing is monstrous. What do you remember what it scored?
I think it scored around 340. The picture does it justice.
Yeah, it does. It does. That elk would be world class anywhere.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful rack on that elk that has a couple of times that are swept backwards, which is really unusual. And Wesley Wright, the elk program coordinator, sent me pictures of that elk when it was in velvet, and so that made it kind of special for me. But you had asked me before the break how I got involved, and I lived in Nebraska in 1991. A friend of mine in Wyoming lined up a pack-in elk hunt for us out of Jackson Hole, and that was my first time I ever went on a big game hunt, and we packed in about 20 miles back in. But before we went back in, we spent about 24 hours in base camp, and I remember I picked up a Bugle magazine, and I read about how Theodore Roosevelt was instrumental in preserving, you know, the land in that area and our hunting heritage. And as soon as I got back, I looked up the chapter that was in Kearney, Nebraska, and I attended it. And when I moved to Arkansas in 1993, I got involved with the Central Arkansas chapter, and it's really like a bunch of family members. We've been together so long. You know, the community members have changed over the years, but we're all still like family. And you know, we're all passionate about what we do.
What are the challenges of putting together and holding an event like that, especially when there's so much demand for the conservation dollar among the enthusiasts? You know, and I mentioned some of the other organizations. There's a lot of competition for those dollars. How do you make your mark and establish your niche and you know, get people committed?
This year, we have some really solid committee members that have been with us. We probably have a core of about 10 people, and that probably doubles on the day of the event. We have other family members that come help us, but we did something a little different this year. We had a booth at the Big Buck Classic. We're trying to, you know, to get the word out a little bit more, but sponsorships is a large part of what we do. We try to get as much of the merchandise for the night of the banquet underwritten as possible. So we like to go into that night having no debt, and you know, sponsorship. We've done really good with sponsorships this year, and we'll certainly publish those people that helped us in our program.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you want to do that right now, mention some of them here. Give them some credit.
We got FBT Bank and Mortgage. We've got K&N Contracting here in Whitehall. We've got I'm kind of drawing a blank a little bit here. We've got several individuals that have donated, and all these gifts are $1,000 or $1,500. And it when they donate $500 this year, they get a Springfield Hellcat 9mm. If you donate $1,500, you get a Browning X-Bolt, a 28 Nosler. That's a $1,200 gun. So it's a good deal for both of us, but.
Well, for somebody that's been looking for one of those in 28 Nosler, I might have to.
You got an arsenal already.
I might have to donate next year, and that's an incentive. But you know, look forward to great success with this event, Scott. And so awfully glad that you called in and shared that with us. And we look forward to chatting with you again in the future. And good luck with your event. Good luck to Elk in Arkansas.
Yeah, thank you guys for inviting me, and we got a seat for both you guys at a table if you want to come. And Ray, thanks for making me hungry for corn chips earlier.
Sorry, but I have eaten elk, and it's pretty close to tasting like a ribeye. I enjoyed it. Our friend Anthony Michaels brought us some.
That's great. Thank you guys so much.
All right, Scott, appreciate you very much. Thank you. Great information, I'll tell you that.
Great information.
There's so many neat events that go on and that are connected to the outdoors.
Well, yeah, that, and people committed to it. But it's just cool to know that you can drive however long it is up there, you know, go into the Buffalo River Valley, and, you know, if you're there at the right time, you can see those fields all along Boxley. Not elk all in all of them. They concentrate in some, not in others, but there's a very, very, very good chance that if you get up there, you'll get to see them up close.
I think I asked you this before, and I want to say you said October was like the best time?
Mid to late September into early to mid-October is when they kind of go into the rut, and they throw their heads back and bugle, and the steam comes off of their snouts, and it's really, really cool.
And they said I had to be out there at 5 o'clock in the morning, that kind of turn. I'm not an early morning guy. We appreciate you very much.
Yeah.
Thank John Summer from the Wild Birds Unlimited at 1818 North Taylor. Take care of your feathered friends with this bad weather. That's easy to say, isn't it?
Yeah,
appreciate it, folks. Have a great rest of the week. Stay warm.
Pickup truck, sports car, motorcycle, minivan.